Hello, we're in week 2 and I'm happy you're here. And what we're going to focus on this week is the reward of authenticity. We're going to do some more brain fitness, even add food. And also we're going to mainly focus on checking in 10 times a day and identifying our brain state. Let's begin with the reward. The reward of authenticity is a higher order reward, but it's completely impossible for any of us to be authentic when we're really stressed out. Because what the brain does is it goes to extremes. I'm either all good or all bad. Life is either all good or all bad. We can't see it as whole. So as you learn these pathways in the brain, how to identify which pathway to use, which tool to use to get back from stress to joy. One of the reasons we want to get back to that state of balance and joy is that we naturally feel authentic. We can be genuine in our own eyes. The second thing about this week is that the check-in becomes much more powerful. Now you may have noticed last week that sometimes you just couldn't check in. Your mind was overloaded, you were overwhelmed. Or you did check in, but there was no way you were going to actually feel that wave of relaxation. Forget it. That wasn't going to happen. And that's perfectly normal and will always be the case because that's what happens in stress. The brain just can't connect. So how do we handle that? Well, we identify our brain state. What happens between parent and child early in life is the root of survival of the species. And unless a parent can actually read the emotional state of a child and know what level of stress they're in, they're not going to know how to help that kid get back to a state of well-being. That kid will not be seen, feel heard, and feel listened to, so that that kid can begin to do that to themselves, listen to themselves, feel their feelings, really connect with themselves. So the idea is that we're going to now use this tool, check-in, in a more sophisticated and effective way. You're going to be able to identify your brain state, your level of stress. And you'll do that 10 times a day again. But this is what's important. Not only will you play with these ideas of brain states, trying to figure out which brain state on a scale of 1 to 5 you're at, but also you'll do something extremely important before you move on to the next chapter, which you will engage in the skill of accepting your brain state no matter what. Now, what we did last week with turning our attention to our emotions inside was exceedingly important. This week is very important too, because unless you can actually be effective at accepting your brain state, even when you're stressed out, when you move to the next chapter, where you learn how to switch it up, how to get into those pathways, you're going to get overwhelmed and confused, because you're going to be feeling like you always have to know your brain state and switch it up. You're going to start analyzing yourself, and the whole thing falls apart. So please take a lot of time with this chapter. And this is what the skill is. First of all, the 5 brain states, and I'll show you in the next video, pertain to correspond to different areas of the brain. And so we're very different in each of the brain states. The person I am at 5 is not at all like the person I am at 1. And that's true for every human on Earth. And all of us go to all 5 brain states. So there's really a message there of the oneness of the universe and of compassion based on the brain. So this is it. You already have this down. You already know that you take a nice deep breath. If you want, you can breathe into your belly. What I usually do is wait until I really feel like I have an emotional anchor inside. Body at 1, using proprioception to give your brain the message you're in a state of well-being, so shoulders back, chest out, and put your chin up a little bit. You might begin to draw the edges, corners of your mouth back toward your ears. Just a subtle kind of smile. I like to just consciously relax my eyes, seeing the world in a more relaxed way. So body at 1. Decentering. warmly observing yourself in the present moment, just as you are. Just as you are. No judgments. Can't afford to have the enemy inside. No judgments. And notice that wave of relaxation. Remember, when you're stressed, this is going to be very quick because you're not going to be able to do a slow one because your brain won't let you. But this is the idea. Connecting with that safe place inside, that sanctuary within. And you're bringing up a kind voice, an honest voice, a nurturing inner voice. And you just say to yourself, what number am I? Am I at 1, feeling great? So I'm feeling balance in my body. I feel that slight activation of the reward circuit, kind of a glow, happy to be alive. 2, balanced, so I'm present in the moment, but I don't feel terribly rewarded. All brain states are good. They all have some advantages. Brain state 3, a little stressed, a little rattled. You know, feelings are starting to be a little bit negative or even shut down. Just the beginnings of that. Brain state 4, definitely stressed. I am definitely stressed. I am definitely stressed. There's no question about it. I only have negative feelings, and all of those wires that we talked about, those unconscious expectations, such as I'm not enough, I have no power, I can't love, joy is not for me, whatever that is, the world's an awful place, whatever those are, they start getting activated. And all of a sudden you're stressed about being stressed, and that's brain state 4. Brain state 5, total overwhelm, total time warp. It feels like it's always going to be as bad as it is. You feel terrified, overwhelmed, and even like as if you're obliterated. That's brain state 5. So I say to myself, what number am I? Well, right now I'm at 1. Okay. But let's say I'm at 4. I'm at brain state 4. Great. Okay. And then the next step is to say, given what's going on in my life right now, given what's going on, I'm just going to put myself at brain state 4. Given what's going on with my father, given that I miss my kids, given that I haven't gone through the mail, given that I am so behind in my work that it's frightening, given that I don't have the groceries in the house, and given that I owe my dad some paperwork, and I hate doing paperwork, okay, given all that, it makes perfect sense that for who I am, not anyone else, for who I am, brain state 4 is about right. Okay. And when I say that, when I say, yeah, like all people, I go to brain state 4, I go to brain state 5, for who I am right now, I can accept that. And I feel a wave of relaxation in my body. This is not a neocortical thinking acceptance. This is in your gut. This is having a love affair with yourself, being realistic about life, understanding that we're all over the map with our brain states and always will be. Okay. So for who I am right now, that makes sense. That's acceptance.